And this is your Trach suctioning catheter kit. And if you look at it, it looks kind of like your sterile glove package. We're gonna open it just the same way. But what I want you to look at carefully is there's a little box under this sleeve. That's gonna be the little box that holds the sterile water. We don't want to touch the inside of the box because that's where we're putting our sterile saline, okay? So I've got my patient, I've got him upright, I've got a towel over his chest. And if you're right-handed, you want to be on the right side of the bed. If you're left-handed, you're going to be on the left side of the bed, okay? I've got my suction. This is my suction tubing. It's going to be hooked to the wall where I've tested it. Make sure I've got some suction going on there. Now, I've got my saline. A bottle of saline, despite the size of the bottle, is going to be good for 24 hours after it's opened. Once it's open, I can use it for 24 hours, and then I have to discard what's left. When you open it, you put your initials, date, and time so that we know how old it is once we open it. So I'm going to tend to my saline first. So I'm going to open my cap, and this is sterile, right? So the inside of my cap is sterile. That being said, you must not reach over your sterile cap, because if I reach over it, what have I done? Contaminated, because skin cells can fall there. So you feel really awkward, but that's okay. Awkward is kind of good. I'm putting it out of the way because I don't want to reach over it. Then I'm going to take my bottle. I'm going to do what we call palming the label, meaning covering the label with my hand so that when I pour it, the liquid won't run down the label and make it illegible. So I'll still be able to read it. And then I'm going to do what's called lip the bottle. I'm keeping my hands above the level of my waist because anything below the level of the waist is contaminated, and I'm just going to pour a little bit of the solution into the garbage can. That's what we call lipping it, and that's just cleaning that pouring surface. Then we'll put that out of the way. Now I'm going to open my sterile package, and you're going to check it just like you would your glove. Okay. And make sure you remove your little box from underneath that flap. And this has writing on it. They don't all have writing on it, but writing should be up. And to open it, I'm staying down here near the bottom of the box. I'm gonna turn it till it pops into place. So see, I'm not gonna touch the inside of that because it's sterile, okay? So I'm going to take that, and I've already lipped my bottle, so I'm gonna go ahead and pour my saline into that. Now I'm going to open my gloves. Got to turn it around. Now these gloves are one glove on top of the other. They're not side by side. Usually the right glove is on top because more people are right-handed. And the cuff is shiny, so I'm going to pick up that, step back, and these are not quite as nice as your sterile glove packages. There we go. How am I going to pick up the second one? I'm going to scoop the second one, get my fingers up under that, hitchhike my thumb, spread my fingers to keep, see that glove's not going anywhere. And then I'm going to put on my second glove. I'm going to get it on, and then I'll say, look at that. I'm just going to keep it kind of weird. Okay. There we go. Now you've got an envelope with your catheter. See, I can touch all this because I'm sterile. And I'm going to take out, and here's my catheter, and it has markings on it so you can kind of have a visual if you want. And then we've got what we call a Y port. The Y port is the connection, and it has a hole in it. This is like having a straw that has a crack or a hole in it. What happens when you try to drink from a straw with a hole in it? You don't get anything, do you? And so that's how we control our suction. So in order to get suction, you have to occlude that opening for the Y port, okay? Now, I'm gonna have to contaminate one hand. So I'm gonna choose to contaminate my left hand because I have to plug this to the suction tubing. So I've contaminated, correct? And then I'm gonna plug it in. So my contaminated hand is gonna be what operates the Y port. So that's my division between sterile and non-sterile. So I'm gonna dip my catheter tip into the saline and I'm gonna go down. I've got it marked how far I'm gonna go down. So, and I've got 10 seconds. So I'm gonna go down. And then once I'm down, then I start intermittently doing the suction. It sounds pretty junky, doesn't it? And then she's gonna ventilate my patient 3 times. While she's doing that, I can clear my tubing of any excess mucus if I need to. Go down again. You're doing so well, Mr. Brown. So she's gonna get 3 breaths. And we're gonna go down one more time. I think we about got it, Mr. Brown. Oh, he sounds pretty clear. Okay, so we are finished with the suctioning. So once I'm finished, I can take my tubing, wrap it around my hand, and then I can remove my gloves over that tubing. Just like you remove your clean gloves, but I've got it all right there. Once you finish, I want to take my stethoscope and I'm gonna listen to his breath sounds to see if he sounds clear. And I'm also gonna check the pulse ox. It's good to have that pulse ox on the finger when you're doing it. If when you're doing this, if his oxygen saturation drops too low, you might need to just wait a minute, see if that oxygen saturation will come up. It may or it may not, because it may be low because he's got a mucus plug in that tubing. Okay. So you did a great job, Mr. Brown.